Starting today, we begin to set the wheels in motion for the second half of this playthrough. Right off the bat, you'll notice there's a little something missing from the screen, and that's what this first part of this segment will be aiming to address. The first thing I need to do is set the scene here, because despite what it may look like, this little fellow next to me is indeed the shiny Ditto I hatched quite a while ago, and I mentioned around that time that breeding with this thing had a 1 in 64 shot at yielding a shiny egg, and I wanted to try and show that off in this playthrough. As for why this thing appears red instead of blue, it's just because everything that's left in the daycare has this palette when they're outside dilly-dallying as they usually do. So the question now is, was I successful in getting a sparkler from this thing in the first place? Yes indeed I was. I am now the proud owner of a shiny Scyther. Good times. So what I basically decided from then on was, well, not really. I mean, I have had this planned for a while, long before I even got the shiny Scyther or anything of that sort. But I basically decided, why stop at one shiny? Why don't I just grab more? And so that has led to me formulating the oft-talked about Grandmaster plan. And that Grandmaster plan is, you've probably worked it out because my old team members aren't showing up on the screen anymore. That is because they have been given a well-earned rest, and in their place, I have bred a total of 6 eggs, all of which will be hatching into shinies, and those 6 shinies are going to be forming my team for the second half of this playthrough. It took a bit of a while. I had to keep spamming save states and unrestraining my speed up key and just sort of running back and forth across Goldenrod City to get all these eggs to show up. But we've got 6 of them, and I basically had to come up with a bit of a short list as to what Pokemon I wanted to try to run. That short list consisted of 18 different Pokemon. I was able to get it down to 6, but not all of these Pokemon that I decided on were part of that short list. There was a few that didn't make the short list just because I had plans on using them in Virtual Console Crystal, but I decided to make a bit of a compromise and just take a few of my planned team members from that and put them into this and use them as shinies. So, the plan here is for me to grab this first egg. I'm going to go ahead and run all the way up to Goldenrod City. I'm going to hatch this thing on screen, and then I'm going to basically repeat the same thing for the other 5 eggs, cutting out all of the super sped up, running back and forth, and then once I've done that, I basically have to just sort of do a couple of random things. This segment is going to be basically a whole bunch of different chunks of video, which are going to be recorded at entirely different times. For the record, it is currently just after 10 o'clock on the 12th of June, about 4 hours away from Nintendo's E3 presentation. I very much doubt any chunks of segment beyond this are going to be recorded. Maybe, I don't know, once I get this team, I've obviously got to grind it up and stuff like that, so they're obviously not going to be ready just straight out of the box. I've got to slowly grind them up, use the lucky egg and get them all up in levels and all that sort of fun stuff. So with that now out of the way, let me quickly unbound my fast forward speed here, and I will return once this egg hatches. Okay, that did not take too long. I mean, when you're going at over 3000 FPS, it's obviously not going to take long in the absolute slightest, but let's find out who our first team member is. Lol, foreshadowing. Oh, what? Oh, look, it's a Scyther. Hey, I don't... We certainly didn't show this off at all or anything like that, so it's somewhat convenient that I had that other shiny Scyther to actually show off and prove that I was able to hatch eggs like that, because the plan was to use Scyther on the team. The problem was that Scyther, that first Scyther that I showed off, wasn't going to work because, I mean, this may make me sound sexist, but it's because the other one was a female. I wanted to have a male one though, because the nickname that I had planned for this thing is very much a male. It's not ma'am. I want man. Lowercase. We're going with Cutman Mike for this one. Cutman Mike, if you don't know, is the person who created the series of Doom WODs called Ghoul's Forest, one of the more well-known series of Doom mods which feature just incredibly freaky creatures that are basically able to one-shot you. He's also known, as his name suggests, he's a bit of a Mega Man fan, and is the creator of the Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch Doom mod, which basically takes all of the Mega Man stuff and turns it in and just throws it into Doom and makes a hell of a deathmatch mod out of it. So there we go. Pretty damn happy with the the DV spread there. It's literally one attack DV off being perfect. So I'd say that's a pretty good success, that. So what I need to do now is I need to go and get the second egg. Then I need to cut more stuff out. And then I need to hatch this thing. This will be a bit of a spoiler for you though. I do not intend on hatching this in Goldenrod City. I've got to hatch this somewhere else. So I've got to keep a close eye on save states and all that sort of fun stuff. And I think the only reason Salt Fairy is staying in here is because while I'm hatching it, I've got to hatch it in the presence of wild Pokemon. So yeah, I don't want to be stuck with Cutman Mike being unable to run away and stuff like that, losing half my cash stack. I'm sure that you will understand. So with that out of the way, I will return in the place that I plan on hatching the egg when the egg actually hatches. Hey, look where I am. Yay. Yeah, you've already worked out whatever's actually hatching from this egg is going to be a happiness evolution. The question now is, what the hell have I decided to torture myself with trying to evolve here? Yeah, it's an Eevee. Also, forgot to add slots. Yay, I knew I was going to forget something. That was, oh my god, it depresses. It really does depress me how I forgot to do that. But whatever. We don't have a Sow Eevee. It is hatched in Mount Mortar, which means it will gain double the happiness at Mount Mortar. So I believe from here on out, I don't have to worry about having like a super strong Pokemon on my team to ward off problem stuff. So at this stage, it's just a matter of grabbing out the next egg and then basically just proceeding to hatch the rest of the team from there. So you don't need to see me do this. I'm just going to put Salt Fairy away, grab out Kalima, fly me down to Goldenrod, and then it's just a procession of hatching the rest of the eggs from there. So I will return once the third egg has prepared itself enough to crack open. It also occurs to me that I completely forgot to give Eevee a nickname. Although, to be fair, this is probably just going to spoil what I plan on evolving this thing into anyway, but whatever. I'm just going to name it right now. I don't really care. I love that sound that it makes whenever that happens. It really is just so helpful to those who try to soft reset for like gift shinies and stuff like that. But we're going to go with blue rings, because a shiny Umbreon has blue rings on it. I know, it's kind of terrible. I was first thinking of 2 rings, which is for some stupid reason a Facebook page that my cousin made to, like, I don't know if it was a shits and gigs thing or anything like that, but it was like a rapper type deal. So I just decided to take that and turn it into blue instead of 2. So there you go. Yeah, whatever. Let's hatch this stupid egg. Alright, egg number 3. What do we have from door number 3?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I had to do it. As stupid as it was, I did not have a choice. I had to frickin' do it. And no, I'm not referring to the decision to use a Koffing. It was just, you know what I'm talking about. I obviously it's something I'm splicing in, so it's not like I'm hearing myself it's not like I'm hearing it happen bloody live. I've got to freaking splice it in once I get the bloody sound bite or whatever, but yeah. There you go. And once again, I forget to nickname the damn thing, so back to the name raider. This is a reasonably simple nickname though, to be fair, so it's not like it's that big of a deal. This thing is going to be named Chum. I could not think of a particularly great nickname for Koffing in general, so I just stuck with the nickname that I gave to the shiny Weezing that I found in Crystal Kaizo. just because I felt like it would fit at least somewhat reasonably well. So whatever, we're naming it Chum. Anyhow, that's 3 down, 3 to go. And here we go. Let the mystery continue to reveal itself piece by piece. Egg number 4 yields a Mareep. Yay! I'm glad that they're still in order, because for some reason I felt like I might have put one egg out of order or something like that, because I want them to show up in a particular order as the team display shows up. So there we go. There's a Mareep. And this time I'm actually going to remember to name the damn thing. No, we don't want a lowercase g, we want an uppercase G. This one has come from the vault that is, I don't know if I would call it a vault or anything like that, but it is a reference to a Twitch emote. We're going to name this thing Elligiggle. I'm actually glad that it's a male, because Elligiggle is just a dude's face, which looks like he's like laughing or something like that. So I figured it would make sense, like the Ellie part just refers to like, I guess just kind of is relatable to electricity, so screw it. If I had a female, the best name that I had picked out for a female one was Ma, like after the freaking sheep that gets killed in Babe, which is a bit depressing, but I'm glad that it came out as a male, so I could name it Elligiggle. So, 4 down, just the 2 to go. So I feel I should point out here that in terms of raw recording, I'm already 18 minutes and 30 seconds in. So there's going to be a lot of shit getting cut out, but this might actually be longer than I was expecting. Especially since I keep dilly-dallying and holding off on revealing the next egg here. Or the next team member to hatch from egg. And it's all purple and shit. So, fun little fact about this Slowpoke, I was actually planning on using this in my Virtual Console Crystal playthrough. I was planning on evolving it into a Slowking, and I basically decided to take that plan and put it here and use it as a shiny on my team. So, yes, this thing is going to become a Slowking, and the name I have picked out for this thing is Zuno, in reference to a character named Zuno from Dragon Ball Super, who is known for pretty much knowing literally everything that has happened in the history of the 7th universe. So, I wouldn't exactly put Slowking at the same level of intelligence, but it's sort of, I think Pokedex entries refer to it as being like revered for its exceedingly high intelligence. I could have gone with a Patrick like a SpongeBob reference, because there was like this one episode where Patrick lost his brain and ended up picking somebody else's up and just becoming an freaking Alfred Einstein of the freaking sea or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But, it is something that I remember. So, there we have Zuno. That is our 5th team member. And we just have the 1 to go. So, I will, go back down to my usual spot where I've just bloody cut away from the last, like, 3 or 4 freaking eggs. And, I will return once we have our team complete. Well, the time is upon us. Time to reveal the 6th and final team member of this epic team of just RNG bred shenanigans and crap. And it's a cow. It's just a blue cow. Why the fuck not? I am actually planning on using a Tauros in Virtual Console Crystals, so this kind of works as a bit of like, I don't even know what the word is. I immediately thought of juxtaposition, but I don't think that was the correct word, but it just sort of pairs well, I guess. It'd pair better if I went and had the patience to actually breed a shiny Tauros for that playthrough, but I've already got plans to breed, I think, a shiny Houndoom for that playthrough, so that's going to be a bit arse. And then there's also the odd egg shiny that I'm going for, so that's the last thing I need on my mind is to just, yeah. And then it's actually worse because there's no difference between normal eggs and shiny eggs on the party menu thing. So I just pretty much have to hatch an egg and hope that I get what I want. As for the nickname here, I have gone with Cow Days. This I hope will get me some brownie points with Jish, considering it's a South Park reference. It's referring to an episode from the 2nd season back in 1998, which featured a festival called Cow Days, and there was just a whole bunch of cows that discovered like a Buddha-shaped clock with a cow head that mooed every hour, and for some reason they decided to revere it as a god and make a cult around it. And when they got caught, they all committed mass suicide. It was very, very dumb. But as for what I know it well, like what I know it best from, is from South Park Rally, which is a really, really stupid game on both N64 and PC. I think it's on PlayStation as well, I'm not too sure. But the Cow Days race in that is basically just kind of like an arena, just drive around the place, grab weapons, just shoot shit out of people, and then there's just this antidote which you're supposed to take because everybody starts suffering from mad cow disease, and the one who holds it for a certain time limit and gains 100% healed is the winner, with everybody else just dying, as the race describes. It is easily my favorite race in the game because of how stupid and fun it actually is. So that is the end of this chunk of the segment. The next thing I need to do, actually yeah, I'll cut here because there's a couple of evolutions that I need to do here. I'm not too sure if I've got the items that I need to evolve the Pokemon though. In these cases, it's going to be Cutman Mike and Zuno, because they're both going to be evolving via trade. Eevee's going to evolve at 17 if I do it correctly, and then there's also Mareep, which evolves at 15, and then 30, and then there's Koffing, which is not going to evolve until 35. But by the time I actually decide to engage these fellows in some kind of battle, I'm going to have the team at 40 anyway, because I'm planning on sending them through the battle sims for the original Gold, Silver, Crystal Elite Four over at Indigo Plateau, just to sort of show off their wares. Until that time, I've got to stop recording here because this is the first chunk of the segment, and I've got to do a whole bunch of grinding and evolving stuff and all of that fun malarkey, and I will return when I am prepared to do more shit with this video, segment, whatever. So it turns out I was a bit of a stupid in more ways than one. I completely forgot there was a floor on this department store where you could just buy evolution items. That being said, the Metal Coat and King's Rock were both 9,800 Poké Dollars each, but I decided I was too lazy to go out and find them myself. I'm pretty sure I could grab a King's Rock from Slowpoke's well somewhere, but I didn't really care too much about that. I probably had it somewhere in the PC as well, so, but whatever. They're here now. I've got them fitted on. This is actually my second time doing this chunk of the segment, because the second time when I evolved Slowpoke, I completely forgot to change the team display to reflect it, which pissed me off so much that I decided, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to redo it. I know it sounds petty, but whatever. I'm doing it. I've committed to it. I've already deleted the first attempt at that chunk of segment anyway, so I've got to redo it regardless of whether I want to or not. So let's get started with Cutman Mike. For some reason, they do not appear shiny when they are being traded like this. I couldn't tell you why. But this does not affect them or anything. This is literally just giving you the Pokemon that you sent to him back to you in every way, shape, or form. The DVs don't change. Nothing actually changes. So here it comes back. Once again, it does not appear to be shiny, but when it goes to evolve here momentarily, it's nice and shiny once again. And so we now have ourselves a funky looking shiny Sizzle. Random little tidbit. This coloration that you see on this shiny Sizzle is not what you would normally see in the regular Gold, Silver, Crystal. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in the past, but a few shiny sprites have actually had their palettes changed. And the way to actually get those to work out on these team displays is I had to take the original sprite, use the pick color tool in paint.net to pick the colors off of like an image that I saved onto my computer, which showed the new palettes, and then basically just paint bucket tool the whole lot and just sort of replace all the old colors with the new ones. So that's how I was able to get that to work. It was applied to Sizzle, Miltank, as well as Ampharos. Not for either of its pre-evolutions though, just Ampharos. So those are the ones that'll be looking a little bit different when they eventually show up. Well, I mean, two of them are already here, so it's just Ampharos that you're waiting on. For Miltank, it used to be like this, a lot more faded kind of blue, and where the brown is there, it was actually red. It looked very, very hideous. I'm glad that they changed it for this hack, because this actually looks a lot better. I think Sizzle was more of like a green-yellow type color. It was a bit ugly looking. But this green is just really badass looking. So I'm glad that they changed that as well. So thankfully I remembered to do that this time. So this is actually going to add Slowking to my Pokedex as caught, because I did not grab one from down in Cerulean Cave when I was grinding off of those to get my original team ready for the first round of the Pokemon League. It is level 55 Pokemon though, so it will not be difficult to grab. I can just repel trigger using one of my old team members. So that's Cutman, Mike and Zuno evolved and ready to grind. Well, everybody else is pretty much ready to grind, although I'll start with Eevee just so I can have that evolved and out of the way. I'll probably do that very quickly since I only need to grind it up about 12 levels. Depends on how much happiness it gained from me walking around and hatching all those other eggs. Okay, so that's going to evolve, what, 10, 4, 8 levels. It's going to evolve at level 13 now, which, I mean, I don't mind, so I guess I'll cut the video again here and return once Eevee is prepared to evolve. And as soon as I press this button to launch an Icy Wind and murder the crap out of this Geodude, let us go ahead and speed that up because, yeah, for some reason I had to do the critical just to slightly delay it a bit, but level 13 has indeed been hit, and it is time for Blue Rings to evolve. And now you know beyond any sort of proof otherwise that Shiny Umbreon does indeed have blue rings. So yeah, not the most original name, but couldn't come up with anything else. I mean, I had Escuridow for the Umbreon that I used in Black 2, but obviously I can't really redo that. I guess I could call it Eliscuro. That'd be... shit. Why the fuck did I not think of that before? Damn. Alright, so much for blue rings. We're just gonna call this thing Eliscuro. That is actually I'm really kind of amazed that I did not think of that earlier. But yeah, we cannot say no to Eliscuro. Eliscuro, if you are wondering, is the name of the main antagonist of the video game Rise of the Triad, which is an FPS made off of the Wolfenstein engine in a time when Doom was pretty much like the biggest goddamn thing in all of gaming, and it still managed to be a really... it actually still managed to be a pretty decent success. I have an LP of it on my other channel, my Draconeus channel, but I do have a playlist of it on this channel, so if you are interested at all in watching that, by all means. It is the 1995 version. It got remade in 2013, but I haven't yet to go after the 2013 version yet. But yeah, I can't say no to Eliscuro. That is the absolute perfect name for it. So there you go. That is Eliscuro done and evolved and whatnot. I don't know why I'm taking the lucky egg off it, but I guess I just... whatever. I'm not in the mood to grind any of these team members up as of yet because I'm losing my sanity with how tired I am, and I'm going to keep losing sanity for the next few hours as I await Nintendo's E3 conference. So that's basically going to be it for this chunk of the segment. I will return once I am in the mood to get Eligiggle up to evolve into Flaffy, and then of course to Ampharos. At that point I probably have enough footage to have an entire segment, so at that point I'll probably end up cutting. But yeah, see you for whenever that bloody well is. So let's just end with like cheesecakes, hulky references, and things. We'll cut back when my sheep gets bigger. So just the third battle into this grind session, and I am already poised to get Eligiggle up to level 15. The first battle in this grind session actually just so happened to be a freaking wild Crobat, which yielded more than enough experience for Eligiggle to go from 5 to 12 in one go. Then I got a Poliwhirl, which got me from 12 to 14, and then that Poliwhirl that I just killed for the third time now, gets Elegiggle up to level 15. Because, yeah, I did some stupids, and this is actually my third time seeing Elegiggle evolve into a Flaffy, which is really, really dumb, but yeah. First time failed because I forgot to set the thing to unpause, to stay active even if it's an inactive window. And then the second time I forgot to switch back before recording. So, there you go, there's Flaffy. And then, all that's really left is to evolve Flaffy into Ampharos. I'm not going to do Koffing on screen, actually, yeah, I don't see any real reason not to do that. Whatever. I will cut back once Flaffy is ready to become an Ampharos. Not the best source of experience, but considering I'm like almost literally 1 XP away from leveling up here, then that'd be great. I actually killed a Weepinbell just before on recording and was hoping that that would be enough. I figured that would be enough. No, ended up pulling up just that little tiny fraction short. So, also I just completely misused the wrong move there. I got the Bellsprout in a position where if I wanted to catch it, then I would very easily be able to. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing that, but whatever. Elegiggle is going to evolve while poisoned, but it is still going to be an epic sort of evolution. Woo! Kicking some ass. Also, for some reason, I couldn't get like the sprite for this on the team display to look the same as this, just like in its pose. I couldn't tell you why, but it'll just look a little bit different, that's all. I don't know how much of a problem this is going to cause. I don't have a problem with it. Thunder Punch isn't happening, because I did take the opportunity to... Fuck off, camper! Fuck off, camper! Oh my god, you completely fucking cramped my style there. But, whatever. Got Fire Punch and Thunderbolt on it from the appropriate places. And I have also been working on Chum as well. Its moveset at the moment is this. Got Sludge Bomb through the TM, Flamethrower through the Tutor. He's the only one I've got left to evolve. 10 levels to go. I'm not too sure how many of them are going to be grinded up, because it has occurred to me that I could just do as much Voltorb Flip as I want and get a whole bunch of rare candies to level my team up, although it's probably better if I grind just to get stat experience. And so lastly for this chunk, let's finally see what this item is. Max Revive. That's actually pretty useful. I'm glad I finally picked that one up. Okay, that should do the trick for this little chunk. Next chunk is going to be Koffing evolving, and then that'll be it for the segment. Rightio, am I going to be let down by Weepinbell's experience yield twice in as many attempts to evolve here? Because it failed with Elegiggle, is it going to fail with Chum? No, it will not. Okay, sweet. That will be the last evolution on the team then. All they're going to do from now is just grind everybody up. Because, while Chum is now officially the highest level Pokemon on the team at level 35 having evolved, and Ampharos is at 30, and I believe Eloskiro is at 13, the other three have not been touched at all, so they're still level 5, still have no experience to their name other than the obligatory experience that they're just born with. Because, you know, continuity issues, eggs have to hatch at level 5, and yet there's Pokemon below that in the wild. But, that is a debate for a different day. For the time being, here is the team that will hopefully get me through the, well, here's a third of the team that will hopefully get me through the, second half of the playthrough. Let me just, go and fetch the other one, the other ones. Or at least sort of show them off. Yeah, to be fair, I've already shown them off to enough of an extent here, but... yeah, with any luck, these 6 sparklers will get me through the second half of the game. Only way to find out is to get them grinded up, get them all kitted out with check our smooth sets and see how they fare. That we will be doing starting next time. So I will see you then.